So welcome back to the stage, Dr. Taleb Rifai, Chairman of ITIC, former Secretary General of UNWTO, Mr. Gerald Lawless, Director of ITIC, and who's that man who's my Chief Executive? Ibrahim Ayoub, CEO and MD of International Tourism Investment Corporation, ITIC conferences and Invest Tourism. And Rajan, I think, is going to grill us on the day's proceedings. So it's now my turn to go and sit on the chair. Thank you.
So, gentlemen, from your perspective, ITIC is your baby, if you like. What do you take away from today? Gerald, I'll go to you first.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks for that. No, what I take away from today very much is that we have to be realistic about the future of tourism. There are issues that we have to deal with and that we can't walk away from. When you think that virtually all the leaders of the world are 450 miles away from here talking about the issue that, as the minister says, everybody says, tourism is being attacked. And for us to be able to respond, we've got to be very, very clear that, and I've been saying it for a number of years now, that we've got to engage with our critics. We cannot just say, no, we don't want to talk to Greta Thunberg. We should be bringing her in here to tell her what good tourism can do, how it can put prosperity into developing countries and developing communities, how it can help to educate people, and how it can, one of the points that was brought up by another speaker, which I thought was really significant as well, was that how tourism helps people to engage with each other and respect each other, because prejudice will always be based on ignorance. But if you know people, you respect them, or at least you have some regard for them.
Yeah.
So I really do think that we have to be realistic about the challenges of tourism and the challenges to tourism. And the biggest one is a sustainability issue, and engage with those who very rightly say, we've got a problem in the world, and let's try to work it out together.
So the next ITIC conference, we're going to have a climate change activist here?
Ask our chairman.
Okay, we'll come back to Taleb in a second. Ibrahim, what do you think? What's your takeaway from today?
Very positive, I would say. First of all, I think we have overcome that challenge to do a live event, right, in London. So basically, we have been for the past 2 years doing meeting through Zoom. And the first one we did successfully in Dubai in May. And I can see today that we are restarting, right? Travel and tourism, that challenge of WTM to do the global exhibition, bringing, I think, 166 countries exhibiting. And in this conference of ITIC, we have got China, we got Côte d'Ivoire, we had Botswana, right? We've been talking with the Commonwealth, the last panel. We have heard from the Balkans, from the Mediterranean. So all of them, I mean, from different corners of the world, we have bring them under one roof in London, right? And we have spoken about the investment opportunities in the UK, I mean, which is very important, post-Brexit. And I would say, like Professor Jan Golding of Oxford University mentioned this morning, 2022 is going to rebound and it's going to look positive. I think we need to be positive. COVID-19 has taught us a lot of lessons. I mean, however you take it, good or bad, but there are a lot of opportunities which are arising from that we have learned, and I think we need to take it positive. COVID will remain with us, you know, like I think Dennis Kinnan told us that, we would have to live with it. There would be a vaccine. We need to get into that cycle like a flu vaccine. I mean, life will still need to go on. You cannot shut down business all the time. And I see on ITIC, we would contribute to that. Next year, we are planning to have different events strategically in a specific region. And we will continue to contribute bringing, connecting investment to the tourism sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Paul, so you were hosting and watching. Tell me what you took away from today.
Doing my best. Well, I think I certainly want to thank my colleagues for all the work that's gone on in making this opportunity possible. I should have mentioned, of course, that we were hoping to be joined by Simon Press, Senior Exhibition Director of WTM. However, he has many duties.
Has he been called to Glasgow as well?
Yes. I think he's certainly been called somewhere and has more pressing activities to do. But it's been a great joy being here again at World Travel Market in Excel. I think we're now in the 42nd year. I might have slipped one, but as somebody who's actually attended all of them, it's the first time I've spent the entire period in a conference room with a delightful audience, and thinking also, of course, that we've had many people join us online, and the fact that this is not our first hybrid conference, but that was in Dubai earlier in the year, but here for London and in the UK, it's the very first opportunity we've been able to do this. And I think it's what we, echoing a little bit of what Ibrahim has said, that we've certainly learned as a result of COVID, as awful as the pandemic has been and actually continues to be, it has helped us to evolve rather more quickly than in our conference activities than we might otherwise have done up until this point. So that's, I think, the fact that we can not only speak to the audience in the room, but also on a worldwide scale is very significant. And may I also just take the opportunity to thank our supporters here today, Alicia Betoon, who's been working behind the scenes as our operations manager, and the students up from Bournemouth University who've been working away in the background, and some of them in the foreground here arranging the stage. We're very grateful for all your assistance, and we hope that you've enjoyed your period here, and maybe some of you it's your first time at World Travel Market. So an old stager like me who's been here going for nearly 40 years, it's a joy to be able to see young people coming into the business and experiencing the opportunities it has to offer. I won't rattle on any longer. I let you go to Taleb now.
Just one observation I'll make, which was, and it was said by a top economist as well recently, that the world is actually swimming with capital. It is there, ready to be invested, according to her. And I think Mark mentioned that as well. There is, if it doesn't get invested, it's just going to burn out and be wasted. So it needs to go somewhere. It is the time for tourism, arguably, to grab that and to say, look, we are the best place for this money to go. And Taleb, on that really, I will leave the last word to you. From today, are you optimistic about the future for tourism and investment?
Very optimistic, very optimistic. I think what I got out of this meeting is that the narrative has to change, and it's changing. And it's changing in three different ways. One is the value of tourism. Tourism is speaking in a different language. This time, we did not bring Taleb Rifai or Gerald Lawless or Andrew Muscat to make the opening speech. It was Ian Golding, who was an economist. I think we're beginning to think and speak in a different way. But the second part is Africa. Africa has been highlighted in this meeting in a very, very, very prominent way. I think Africa needs to develop a different narrative of its own. I'm not just talking about the minister from Sierra Leone. I'm talking about many Africans that mentioned, or Africa was mentioned in the narratives that we talk about. Africa is the future without doubt. And the ATB is one of the very important organizations to realize this. The third thing I want to talk about is the narrative regarding the relationship with investment. As you said, investments is there. We just need to talk to them the right way. We need to approach them the right way. They need to understand us better. We have seen the debates between two financiers in one of the panels, where one financier was saying, no matter what you do, you're never going to get what you want. The other one was saying, no, it's time for tourism to take its stand, to become something. I think we need to talk to governments about this, because governments are a very, very important element in all of this. And even in investment, governments can play a big role if they're convinced about the value of tourism. That's the most important thing. It's the narrative, the change, the narrative that I came out of this meeting thinking about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Taleb. Thank you very much indeed as well. I would just want to echo what Paul said. A big thanks to Alicia and to the whole team there doing the technical side, and the volunteers from Bournemouth University too. So yeah, a big thank you to you for that. And Paul, I'll just let you finally resume your MC role to close the proceedings.
I would like to thank the Mauritius.
Thank the Mauritius.
Oh, thank the Mauritius team. Why don't you thank the Mauritius team? Are they online? Yes. CEO Ibrahim has asked me to make a special vote of thanks to our overseas team, our office team in Mauritius. We, like many companies these days, outsource, and they've been working like beavers, and they have, for example, in our design team in the office there, have put together this magnificent backdrop. Well, I think it's magnificent. I hope everybody else does. It's really pretty stunning. I know there was quite a lot of toing and froing over that, and eventually we got something really fabulous. I hope we can stick with it, actually,
Right.
for the future.
In a way, that's a good combination between UK and Mauritius.
You're quite right, yes. Thank you for reminding us to thank them. And of course, although I was thanking the team from Bournemouth and Alicia, thank you to Aztec as well for all the hard work you've been doing behind us.
And also the team working with us from WTM as well.
And not to forget Rajan, who's done a sterling job.
Absolutely.
Rajan Datar. BBC.
And I would say Rajan now is almost one of us. I mean, working with understanding all the ITIC and investment.
Don't tell the BBC.
Of course.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your attendance. Those people watching online, we're very grateful for your attention during this long day. And if you've dived in and out, we hope you've learnt something, had your mind stimulated, and your juices risen for investing, financing, and restarting tourism globally. Thank you very much.